Hey y'all. Okay, so if you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you've already purchased the painting and all that jazz pre-drawn canvas. The purpose of this video is for me to give you a behind the scenes look and just a few tips and tricks if you're someone who has no idea what you're doing, but you want to get into painting and you just need to know the basic steps, okay? So you have your 16 by 20 inch pre-drawn canvas. If you purchase paint from me, your paint pack looks like this. You have 10 colors in there and your pack of brushes, okay? So because I have my own brushes, I'm not going to waste you guys' merchandise. So we're going to toss that, but I am going to use the paint, okay? So there's 10 colors in here. I've given you every color. One of the tips that I'm going to show you though, for instance, you have a regular blue in here, but say you want to make that a sky blue. I'm going to show you how we use white to turn that dark blue into a lighter blue, okay? Stuff like that. Things you're going to need aside from your paint and brushes are a cup of water, a cup that you don't care about. This is obviously my paint cup because it's pretty filthy, okay? Do not fill your cup up past halfway, okay? Do not fill your cup up past halfway. I promise you, if you fill it up to the top, you will knock it over. That's just how it works. That's Murphy's Law, okay? You're gonna knock it over. So halfway, that's all you need. Halfway is more than enough. And the reason you fill your cup up with water is because to transfer your brush to a new color without getting it dirty, you have to clean it off in the water, okay? So there is gonna be something I'm going to talk to you about. And if you like to have a drink while you paint, just make sure that you're not dipping your brushes into your drink, okay? I've made that mistake before. Gotta pay attention. Gotta pay attention to what you're doing. Make sure that when you start, your brushes are dry, okay? You cannot use acrylic paint on a canvas with a wet brush unless you're going for a wet look, which is not what we're going for. Now, if we were using watercolor, we would obviously want our brush wet, but not with acrylic, okay? So dry brushes only. I use an old plate as my paint palette, and so it's kind of, I'm trying to do what you guys would do, but what I'm gonna do is just sit my paints on my palette and use them as I go. Next, you'll need either a paper towel or a towel. This is my paint towel. Dirty. I wipe off my brushes when I'm cleaning them in the water. I use 2 at a time just because it gets messy. It gets messy, okay? So you got your towel. You got your cup of water that your brushes are going to go in. And then you also need something to drink. Something to drink. Or something to drink. Either way, whatever mood you're in. Something to drink. Something to drink. Something to drink. Whatever mood you're in. Okay? So, let's go ahead and get this thing open here. Don't throw this away. It's cute. Okay. She wrapped that thing, didn't she? Sheesh. Okay. So, I'm looking at it and I'm getting a feel for what colors I want to dive in with. So, it's really no point of waiting around. Okay. So, let's get into it. It's time to start painting. I'm just going to start with red, and I'm going to start in the background. So here's the red. Here's the brush I want to use. And I'm just going to go for it. And you see a little bit goes a long way. You see how well that's spreading? A little bit definitely goes a long way. And you don't have to paint fast like me. I just kind of paint fast. And you see I'm taking my time around those black lines. And so this is a larger brush. You see how close I am to this edge? This brush is too large for this edge. So I'm going to need a smaller brush to make sure that I stay inside the lines. And before I go in for that detail, I'm going to ask myself, is there any other area that I like to paint red? Yes. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this opportunity to go fill in all the other spaces that I want to be red as well, so that when I'm through with red, I'm through. Okay, so I found all my spots that I wanted to paint red. So now what I'm going to do to fix these little areas, these small lines around these spaces where I don't want to go outside of the lines, I'm going to use a smaller brush. So if anybody was paying attention in the beginning, what am I supposed to do with this brush now if I want to clean it off? Yes, put it in the water. So I put this brush in the water. I'm going to swiggle it around. It should be clean, and when I'm ready to use this brush again, I'm just going to dry it off with my towel. Okay, so now I need a smaller brush for those edges. I'm going to choose this one. Okay, really small. And so now I'm going to use one of my towels to dry this brush off to make sure it is completely dry. And now I'm going to go in and paint these small tiny edges, okay, so I can stay inside the black lines. So here we go. Okay, so I'm all done with red. So now I'm going to put my top back on, and I have so much more left. Like, the thing is still full. So how do I clean this? Yes, I put this in my water and I clean it off. So red is done, and now I'm going to move on to another color. I want to go with blue. Okay, I'm gonna go with blue. But let's say I want to use a lighter blue. How would I make a lighter blue? So I would take my blue and I would take my white. Okay, I would take my blue and I would take my white, and then I'm gonna take a plate. Okay, so I'm gonna use my paint palette. So what you're going to do is take the tip of one of your paint brushes and you're going to scoop out some of your blue, and you're going to put that onto your palette or your plate. Okay, scoop it on out, just like so. All right, and now before I move on to scooping out some white, I need to clean the tip of this brush off. Okay, so I added some more white, and this is a combination that I like. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use, and I'm probably only going to paint one of my spaces with this light blue, but I just wanted to show you what it would look like if you mixed white with any color. It's going to make it lighter. Okay, let's take this and use it inside one of our spaces in the background. Okay, so this is the only space that I wanted to use our created color, this light blue, in. So I'm going to clean off my brush, and for the rest of the time, y'all are just going to watch me paint until I get to this young lady's face. Okay, something special I want to show you with the face, but those are all of my instructions up until this point, so enjoy. I don't know how well you guys can see it on camera, but this purple is a bit see-through. So with a color like this, you're going to have to let it dry so that you can create a second layer on top. It's very amateur and it doesn't look really nice once your painting is finished if I can see through to the white underneath. So colors like this that are kind of thin, you need to let it dry and put on a second layer. Okay, that's what's going to make your piece look great in the end. Okay, so now that I have all of my background filled, we obviously see, well, I don't know if you can see it, but purple and green are see-through. And I do not like that. It does not look nice. We do not need to be able to see the canvas through the paint. So that requires a second layer. So now what I'm about to do is go ahead and give these two, well, these four, a second layer, and then I'm going to go ahead and paint her afro black. Okay, so the last part with the face, I have two browns here, a darker one and a lighter one. We're going to use this darker brown for the edges of her face, because it's like where a shadow is created. Think about it. Her hair is hanging over top of her face, so we're going to have a shadow there and around her neck. And then on the inside, we'll kind of just blend the two, okay? And that'll be the last step for our masterpiece. Okay, and there you have it. I'm gonna make this my stopping point. What I like to do personally, I use these Sharpie paint markers or pens, and I like to go over each of my shapes and outline them in black just to define them a little more. So that's what I'm about to do. Okay, so I'm finally done. The last thing to do is to sign that thing. J.A. Okay, so I hope this was fun. I hope it was informative. And I hope that it took the edge off. Sometimes painting can be really intimidating for people, and it shouldn't be. It's something that's meant to be enjoyed. So I hope you take these tips and you use them for your next project.